After wrapping up the road trip with a near no-hitter, the Braves return home with hopes of improving on a .500 record at the 10. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Rays and Evan Longoria dig in against Mike Foltynewicz and the Braves. It's game one of a two-game set. The Rays and Braves tangle next. It's time for Braves baseball. Don't pucker up. We've got interleague action tonight here at Turner Field. The Tampa Bay Rays are in town, and the Braves are playing good ball. Fresh off a sweep down in Miami, they hope to make it a 4-game winning streak with a victory tonight. Hi again, friends. Chip, Joe, and Tom back with you for game one of our set with the Rays. Joe, what a way to end the road trip. A near no-hitter down in Miami, and it's always fun to sweep the fish.
He made so many good pitches all day long on Sunday that for Shelby Miller, one lousy, stinking fastball down the middle, and the guy had to hit it. Come on, he ruined the whole day. But what a game and what an effort by him.
So from one Florida-based team to another, Tom Glavine, the Rays are in town. Surprisingly, only a game out of first in the AL East. And at 21-18, they have to be one of the game's big surprises.
No, they have to be. Look, I don't think anybody picked them to be in the mix in their division, and certainly not this close this far into the season. You see there, the 21-18 record, 10th in the AL in average, 10th with average with runners in scoring position, 9th with home runs. So they're middle of the pack with their offense. Their pitching's been really good, and they've had a lot of help from a lot of different guys this year.
And, fellas, speaking of pitching, how about Mike Foltynewicz? 2-0 so far as a Brave, and were it not for a bad throw last time out, he might be 3-0 for Atlanta already.
Yeah, he kind of hurt himself in Cincinnati his last time out. But you know what I've seen, Tom, that is really wonderful is that each time out he's getting a little bit better. He seems to be getting a little bit more comfortable with every outing.
A little bit deeper into the game, a little bit better, and look for that to continue, certainly with the momentum of the game Shelby picks on Sunday. So hopefully there'll be some residual there that he'll want to go out there and do one better and get this homestand off to a good start.
Yeah, Shelby Miller's a tough act for anybody to follow, but maybe Folty can do that. He certainly opened some eyes on social media, did Shelby Miller. Coming up, we'll talk about the almost no-no down in Miami. We'll get the Braves' reactions on that from Jem Hildreth when we come back to the ballpark right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented
mind if we look back just one more time, just for a little bit, at that beautiful piece of pitching by Shelby Miller on Sunday. Now, of course, we're going to go to the part that's going to drive him and all of us crazy. Justin Bour, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, does that. Breaks up Shelby's no-hit bid. Would have been the first of his career, but his teammates were there to support him. They took to social media. Here you get to see just a few of them. Tonight's starter, Mike Fultonevich, said, "Tough act to follow again. Thanks, Shelby." Alex Wood, he's not on there, but I told you he made some good use of his emojis. Man on fire in his. Couple other good ones. Brandon Kniff, #stud. The Braves bullpen bag chimed in. How about Andrelton Simmons, who got creative in his use of his hashtag?
Just came so close, and everybody was rooting for him without even saying anything. That's a fun part. You don't say anything, but you know it's there. And, I mean, at the end, the 1 out, I mean, it was a little sad, but at the same time, you're like, well, he did throw a shutout.
Little sad, little happy. That's why Andrelton decided to use the hashtag Sappy. We can go with that, right? It works. Either way, a lot of good things coming out of that series in Miami. A.J. Brzezinski, not on Twitter. He said it gets people into too much trouble. He will be behind the plate tonight. We'll see what he and Fulte can cook up as the Braves take on the Rays.
The Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Cash is their new manager. The Rays at 21-18, and here is their starting lineup presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kevin Kiermaier leads off. Steven Souza, a former Nat, is in right. Evan Longoria is their superstar third baseman. James Loney's at first. Logan Forsythe at second. David DeJesus in left with Asdrubal Cabrera, Rene Rivera, and Erasmo Ramirez on the mound in batting ninth.
Facing Mike Fultonevich, 4th start on the year, 2-0 with a 4.24 ERA. You see his home road splits, 2-0 here at Turner Field. So look for him to continue his winning ways here.
The Tampa Bay Rays, a great story. Only a game behind the Yankees in the American League East. In many ways, very similar to the Braves. They don't score a lot of runs. As we showed you earlier, they have outstanding pitching and a lot of interchangeable parts. And it's Kiermaier leading off in center field on an 80-degree night. Kiermaier at 243, 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. And a little flip into the right field corner, and that's going to drop for a hit. Look at Kiermaier go. He's on his way to second. Big turn. He's going to try for 3, and he's going to make it. A bloop triple for Kiermaier on a ball that maybe went 180 feet.
Well, there goes a no-hitter. Breaking ball had him fooled. Good pitch, one-handed. Wasn't even hit hard enough to get to Nick Markakis. But he can run.
So he's in scoring position for Steven Souza. You might remember him as a Washington National outfielder. Souza's their team leader in homers, and he's hitting second. He's also knocked in 15 runs, but this, fellas, is where he's really struggled. He does not make a lot of contact, and he's only 2 for 26 with a runner in scoring position. In fact, Dave Baker tells us Souza's 54 strikeouts are tied for second most in big league baseball. That's exactly what Fulte would like to have here.
It's a good spot to have him up there if you're Fulte.
He's tied with Chris Davis and Jorge Soler of the Cubs. Chris Carter of Houston is the big league strikeout leader with 56 of them. Back to the screen, out of play.
For Fulte, his 4 keys to pitching success today, well, it is a tough act to follow, number one, after what Shelby Miller did on Sunday. But he's still got good enough stuff to really turn in a gem. Bases on balls have been an issue because he's not going that deep into ball games, but each time out he's been better.
Toward third and through. Ciriaco couldn't handle that hot shot. And Steven Souza drives home the game's first run with a single past third, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay. They started hitting Sunday, and they haven't stopped. The Rays beat Minnesota 11-3 on Sunday. They had 19 hits in that game. Didn't hit a home run. And had 10 hits with a runner in scoring position. And they're up to their old tricks in the first inning tonight. Here's Evan Longoria, their third baseman. He jumps the first pitch and drives it into shallow right. Markakis in the bright sunshine makes the play, and Souza's back to first with 1 out.
I'm trying to figure out if I've ever seen a triple go a shorter distance. You know, sometimes you might see that if 2 outfielders ran together, or if a guy made a diving effort and it got under him somehow. I've never seen a triple dumped in 140 feet down the first baseline.
I have to agree with you. I don't think I have.
Well, we all have now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It led to the first run of the game. And this is former Dodger James Loney, 273 average, couple of homers, 10 knocked in. He's riding a 5-game hitting streak for Tampa Bay.
Well, we showed those stats. They're 9th or 10th in the league in various offensive categories, but every one of these guys, just about, you go through there. Longoria 315 his last 24 games. Loney 9 for his last 19. Forsythe on deck 339 his last 2 weeks.
In the air, that's deep short. Simmons can't get that. They are hitting them where the Braves ain't right now. And Loney's aboard with a soft single. 3 hits in the inning. First and second, 1 out.
I have to believe this is not how they're doing it, but it's working right now. Another good pitch.
Another good pitch. You know, if you're Fulte, you just nothing you can do about it. Keep making pitches, and eventually you're going to start having better results.
Logan Forsythe is the Tampa Bay second baseman. Remember him in San Diego? He's been a huge pickup for the Rays. He's playing great. A 300 mark with 4 homers. Every pitch from Fultonevich is a strike, and that's still the case. Forsythe part of a 7-player trade. The took place before the 2014 season. Brad Boxberger also came over from San Diego for Jesse Hahn and Alex Torres.
Well, that's a good trade for Tampa.
Forsythe couldn't check his swing. He's down another strike. It's 0-2.
Boxberger's become their closer.
Logan's from Braves country. He was born in Memphis, Tennessee, lives in Franklin, Tennessee in the offseason. Played 110 games last year with the Rays. Hit .223. He's hitting .300 right now. 0-2 from Fulte, and a fly ball to right. Markakis will drift back a few steps. Souza will get to the second base bag. Thought about re-tagging, but stumbled at the bag. So there's a break. First and second, now 2 outs.
Sometimes those bags are a little bit wet after the infield's been watered, so maybe his foot slipped on some moisture.
So that helps. This is David DeJesus. David's been around a while. 35 years old. He's in the second year of a 2-year deal. He's got an option for his services next season for the Rays. He's been with the Royals, Oakland, the Cubs, and the Nationals before coming to Tampa Bay in 2013.
He's a good player. Does a lot of little things right to help your team win. Good defender. Still runs well. Puts the ball in play.
Pick off, and that drilled Souza right in the back. And he's flat on his back with Andrelton Simmons trying to cut in and make the play.
May have hit him in the head. Had him leaning too. No, you're right, Chip. Right in the 0 on his 20.
Fulte's got the throw to the plate thing down, but that throw to second base so far hasn't been a lot of fun for him.
That has not been good.
Well, you take one in the back like that, though, you probably shorten him up a step or two so he doesn't have to get another one.
No balls at a strike. 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 Rays. 3 hits here in the first. And that's high, even count. That's the first pitch Mike has thrown out of the strike zone in the game.
Tom, we've talked in the past about you had your share of first inning troubles. It's got to be a real pain when you feel so good coming out of the bullpen. You're throwing strikes, you're making good pitches, and you've already given up a run and in trouble.
Well, it's one thing, like you say, if you go out there and you're not hitting your spots and you're kind of feeling your way around, but that hasn't been the case, so it's doubly frustrating when you're making good pitches and things aren't going well.
Yeah, love that hook.
I think that pitch is better than his slider.
Well, I like how he uses it sporadically. He picks his spots. It's a good off-speed pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. And fouled away by DeJesus to stay alive. Told you Kevin Cash is the skipper for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's just 37 years old. Born and raised in Tampa. Follows Joe Madden, who won 754 games from 2006 through last year as the Rays manager. 2-2 pitch. Did he go? No, he did not. Jerry Davis says no swing, full count.
Yes, he did. The way they've been swinging this inning, that would have been a double.
So De Jesus gets a swing on the house. And the Rays runners will be off with the pitch. There they go, and it's cued foul. Charlie Montoyo is the Tampa Bay third base coach. And Rocco Baldelli, remember him? He's the first base coach for Tampa Bay. He's the youngest Rays coach ever. Rocco, just 33 years old.
Boy, did he have his share of injuries.
Pitch, another pop-up out of play by De Jesus. Knee injuries, elbow surgeries. Rocco had to retire at the age of 29, and there was a time when he was actually being compared to Joe DiMaggio in the early days of his career with Tampa Bay. Pitch number 21 coming up for Mike. And a ground ball to short. Simmons charges, gloves, and flips to first in time. 21 pitches, 18 strikes for Foltynewicz, and 3 soft hit balls lead to the first run of the night. Gonzalez is starting 9, again presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Pedro Ciriaco gets the start at third base. We got bad news on Phil Gosselin. We'll report that in a moment. Todd Cunningham off to a flying start. He's in left. Brzezinski back in harness. Maben 8th, Foltynewicz 9th, and Ramirez, a man we've seen before.
See his split so far this season. First 2 games, not so good. 0-1 with a 25 ERA, but certainly has figured things out his last 8 times out, going 1-0 with a 1.42 ERA, so he's definitely going in the right direction.
Sneaky fastball, changeup. Throws more changeups than anybody by percentage of pitches thrown. 33%.
Gets a look at Jace Peterson leading off for the Braves. He's got hits in 15 of his last 19 games. His first big league homer under his belt. That was the grand slam down in Miami. And coming off a 2-hit game on Sunday where he drove in a couple of runs. 2 balls and a strike.
Ramirez is 5'11", 200 pounds, out of Nicaragua. Got a set of legs on him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Solid.
That's downstairs, full count from the Rays right-hander Erasmo Ramirez. Pedro Ciriaco's on deck. And Jace will get another look. with a full count pitch. Braves start play tonight just 4 games off the division lead. Atlanta at 18-19 on the year. And a fly ball down the left field line. Long run. And near the line, the grab is made. That's De Jesus, and Peterson flies out for out number 1. And here's Siriaco. I think it'll be interesting to see how Freddie Gonzalez manages the third base situation now for the Braves, where they've lost not 1 but 2 third basemen to injury. Chris Johnson is still out, but is starting to swing the bat and may be able to accompany the team on the West Coast road trip if everything goes well this week at home. A strike to Pedro. But Joe, the news for Phil Gosselin was just awful.
Yeah. It was the second one on this road trip where a guy was really going well, Kelly Johnson, the first.
To short. Easy pick. Cabrera against Siriaco. 2 out.
And have an injury waylay their season. And for Phil Gosselin, you see him wearing a splint. Suffered a fracture on his thumb, and it surprised me. I asked him where it was, and I was expecting it to be somewhere around the big knuckle, but it's up by the small knuckle on his thumb.
Really?
Yeah, and it's going to require surgery that will take place tomorrow.
And Phil's kind enough to join us during the ball game tonight. He'll be with us in the 3rd inning tonight, as Freeman didn't get the change. A strike.
Yeah, never a good time for guys to get hurt, but certainly hate to see those 2 guys get hurt when they were playing as well as they were.
So the flurry of roster moves, the position players for Atlanta. Braves disable Phil Gosselin. They brought up Adonis Garcia, who was swinging the bat very, very effectively at AAA Gwinnett. Garcia's here wearing number 14. Two quick strikes to Freddie Freeman. Big shift on for him. Freddie trying to go the other way and stays alive. 0-2.
Ramirez's last start was a real good one against the Yankees. 5 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. The hit he gave up was the first batter of the ball game, and then retired everyone after that. From a hitting standpoint, he has not thrown more than 68 pitches but 1 time this year, so that'll be worth keeping an eye on too.
And with the first inning run Tampa Bay has scored, this is only the 3rd inning all year where he's pitched with a lead. So things looking good for Ramirez. A line drive to second, and that'll take care of Atlanta in the 1st inning. Freeman hits it right into the shift, and the Rays lead by 1 after 1 in Atlanta. Cunningham, Maven, and Markakis left to right in the outfield. Pedro Siriaco, as we told you, is the starting third baseman tonight. A.J. Przinsky is back behind the dish. So, Tommy, you've been where Mike Foltynewicz has been as we show you the pitching side of the transaction wire. Nick Massett signed to a major league contract today as a free agent. Cody Martin was optioned to AAA Gwinnett, and John Cornely was designated for assignment today. Massett is here wearing number 51, and he could see action tonight. A strike to Asdrubal Cabrera, the shortstop.
Massett started with the Marlins, got called up, pitched pretty well for them, and then through a series of
Freeman at first and beats Cabrera to the bag, one out.
Series of calamitous type events with the Marlins where they needed help in their bullpen, and then they have another pitcher go on the DL and Cozart, so now they probably wish they had Massett back, and the Braves are happy to have him. Of course, that wasn't the most calamitous thing that happened to the Marlins.
Yeah, but right after we left air down in Miami on Sunday, after Miller's near no-hit performance, we found out walking into the Braves locker room that Mike Redmond was relieved of his duties as the Marlins manager. That happens quite a bit. As you know, in our game, he's the second skipper to be relieved of his duties, but who replaced him is maybe the biggest shock of all. Stan Jennings, the former Marlins general manager. Thoughts?
Is he still going to be the GM?
He's still under contract through 2018, and they have not filled the GM spot. And his contract to manage the club runs only through this year. And then the Marlins say, guys, that they will evaluate his performance at the end of this season.
My thoughts are, why? Why would you do that? Not really sure, but.
Wow, how about that swing by Rivera, tipped and caught by Przinsky for a strikeout for Foltynewicz. Well, Ozzie Guillen is still under contract and getting paid, and now Mike Redmond's getting paid through 2017. Maybe that had something to do.
Yeah, and maybe I'm paying Dan Jennings anyway, so hey, go down and manage. I don't know. I thought it was bizarre. Dan may well do a good job. I don't know. He's a good person, but he's a front office guy. They got Jeff Conine still working with the ball club. Got Brett Butler coaching third. They've got other qualified people that are recent baseball players.
Right.
That would make some sense, but who knows? Maybe they offered it to those people and they said no way.
I can understand if that was the case. In 6 years, the Marlins have had 6 managers, including interims. And since 1993, the first season that the Marlins came into being, they've had 14 managers. How about that? Nice comeback inning for Foltynewicz. Couple of strikeouts. See if Braves can get even in the second. Bright sunny day in Atlanta. Rough start for Fultonevich, although he held the damage to only one first-inning run. And Markakis, Cunningham, and A.J. Brzezinski are coming up. You got to find some gaps with a very stingy Tampa Bay defense. 15 errors and only 6 unearned runs have been tallied against the Tampa Bay D. Evan Longoria is their third baseman. James Loney can really pick it at first. And the battery of Ramirez and Rivera off to a 1-2-3 start tonight. Here's Markakis. Makes it 304 for the year. He's seen these guys a lot, Joe, and I liked what you heard him say about the Tampa Bay club before the game.
Just talked about how scrappy they are. They don't quit. They battle you innings 1 through 9.
And Ramirez having trouble keeping his hand dry, it looked like. He didn't like that pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. I can't think of a team in Major League Baseball that has gotten more out of less than the Tampa Bay Rays, and I mean that as the ultimate compliment. They have the 9th best winning percentage in baseball over the last 10 years, and in that period of time spent $556 million on player salaries. It's a lot of money, right?
Not compared to, I'm sure.
The last 2 years, the Los Angeles Dodgers have spent $508 million. Yet year after year after year, the Rays rebuild their bullpen, rebuild their ball club, and do it with an economy that makes just about every other Major League Baseball franchise envious with the results. Three balls and a strike. And popped back out of play, full count.
They've always had good starting pitching. James Shields, David Price, you could start there. They've got a good nucleus right now. They've got a couple of guys on the disabled list that really hurts them.
Ball 4 to Markakis. First Braves base runner is a second inning walk. And then I'll bring up Todd Cunningham, who's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature tonight.
Boy, he did too. As soon as he came up from Gwinnett, he started hitting. 8 for 12 in that series in Miami. Scored 4 times. Hopefully he can bring it right here to Turner Field too.
He's probably thinking the big leagues are easy.
Short lead at first for Markakis. And the change this low. Over the last month, the Tampa Bay Rays have the lowest ERA in baseball. And that's without Matt Moore. That's without Alex Cobb. That's without Drew Smyly. First day of the season, 4 of their starters and their closer were on the disabled list. Drilled down the right field line. Fair ball. That's in the corner. Markakis around second, on his way to third. Cole Porter's going to throw up the stop sign, then gave him a late wave, but it was too late. So they're at second and third with nobody out. Another hit for Cunningham. He's 9 for 13.
He did bring it to Turner Field. Fastball in, turned on it. And he was looking to go 3. He thought he might have a chance at a triple. Had to throw out the brakes, though. There's a stop sign. So when he sees a stop sign, Nick looked away. And that's when then Bo said, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I think initially it was the right read, and then I think the right fielder bobbled it a little bit, and they're going to take a chance, but right move.
Yeah, with nobody out.
Nobody out.
And you got Brzezinski up there with 16 runs batted in. And he jumps on a first pitch and skies it out of play. This is where the Braves have been so good, hitting .299 this year with runners at second and third base. Right off his hands, out of play, strike 2.
That's where the sneaky part comes in. He kind of lulls you to sleep with off-speed stuff at the changeup, maybe even a slow breaking ball, and then his fastball, four-seamer, in on your hands at 89, kind of rides in on you.
Yeah, kind of pitches backwards, almost uses his fastball as his changeup.
And Przinsky just got hit by a pitch on an 0-2 count. And Ramirez can't believe that happened. So the bases are loaded for Andrelton Simmons.
Right off the elbow pad.
So a chance for a big inning for the Braves. 3 on, nobody out. And a strike. A walk, a double, and a hit batsman. That's fouled off Rivera at the plate. Quickly 0-2.
I think mentally, when you have scouted this guy and looked at video, especially in situations like this where he's in trouble, he's going to resort to what is his best pitch or where he has the most success, and that's his changeup. And he's thrown a couple of off-speed pitches to Andrelton here. I think you got to look for it early in the count. Now you can't afford to, but early in the count you can.
Especially in this situation, like you say, he'd love a double play ball right here. Yeah. So he's going to go to that pitch that he thinks he can get a double play or get himself in a position to get out of this inning. So whatever his best pitch is, yeah, you got to be looking for it the minute you step in there in this situation.
1-2, and that one swept off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Simmons, as you know, one of the toughest guys in the game to strike out.
This is where he might take a shot with his fastball if he wants to try and get him off the changeup in case it goes 3-2.
It did go to 3-2. Nice rally for Andrelton.
Boy, Rene Rivera just hooting on him too. Wanted to make a good pitch, but none of those were close.
Talking with some of the Tampa Bay people, that's something they want their catchers to do. They are in the game with their starting pitcher. And this is a big sequence. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a full count. There's the fastball, and it's cut on late. Andrelton has struck out just 12 times in 144 at bats. That's 1 of every 12.
The flip side of that is he's also hit into 12 double plays, which is tied for the most in the major leagues with Casey McGee.
Good cut, foul back. Do it again.
I think that's his best fastball too at 92.
Another 3-2 pitch. And Simmons just walked with the bases loaded. That ties the game.
Ramirez wanted that pitch, and so did Rivera. Breaking ball on our PNC Bank box tracks. They were hoping, but it wasn't there.
Nope, never got there.
So Simmons with 17 runs batted in. That's good for 3rd on the club. And that'll bring up Cameron Maybin. Maybin's got a couple of hits this year with the bases loaded. He's up to 14 runs batted in.
Hit 276 in the road trip, and he's 5 for his last 11. He's coming home hot.
Right back to the screen, foul.
Got a fastball, just missed it. Had a good hack at it. Now sit on that changeup. Able to do that with only one strike.
Base hit right field. Cunningham scores. Here comes AJ to third. He'll be stopped. Good piece of hitting by Cameron Maybin. He's the 5th consecutive Brave to reach, and it's a 2-1 game.
And he's got 15 RBIs. Fought that off a little bit. Found a good hole.
So after a 1-2-3 first inning, Erasmo Ramirez is in a big mess. And Mike Fultonevich has 3 RBIs. He leads the game 2-1 now. Pitch. Strike 1.
Got a good inning going here. You don't mind Fulte making an out, just don't make 2 outs.
Just setting him up for this 3rd in a row slider he's going to throw. He's going to hang.
No such luck. 3 pitches takes care of Mike. First strikeout for Ramirez. No real harm. Again, you go to the order, top of the order. Bases loaded, 1 out now.
That's okay. Better than a double play. I was a little surprised they weren't playing in their infield.
So, deja vu for Jace Peterson. How about another grand slam? Off speed. There's the change. Strike 1. Rivera made the stop. And an even count. That's the 27th pitch of this 2nd inning on a hot night.
And for a guy that pitch count's probably going to be an issue, already up to 41, so don't expect him to get too deep into this one.
Yeah, the one time he's gone over 68 pitches, he threw 91 pitches in 3 1/3 against Toronto.
Way off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He was acquired from Seattle March 30th, and it was when they were so short-handed pitching wise.
Bouncing ball toward Loney at first. Thought about coming home. Has only 1 play. Peterson brings home A.J. Przinsky. And it's a 3-1 score. $16 RBIs for Jace.
I don't know. I was wondering. I watched that replay from that good angle there, thinking if you're only going to have a chance to get 1 out, then why not try to come home and cut off a run? But he never even looked home, and you had Pierzynski running. With all due respect to AJ.
Now Siriaco with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. And he pops one into shallow center. Here comes Kiermaier. Still coming, and he's going to get there.
He's fast, isn't he?
And yeah, he is quick. That tires aside. Good inning for the Braves. They scored 3 times and take a 3-1 lead. down in Miami on Sunday.
Great play to preserve what was still a no-hitter at that point. But unfortunately, when he stabbed his glove in the ground, he also broke his thumb.
Well, Phil's kind enough to join us down on the dugout bench. Phil, sorry, as we said a moment ago, for your misfortune. Did you know you heard it right away down in Miami?
Yeah, I felt right away it was something, but I didn't think it was that bad, honestly. I said something when they had that review, you know, with Henderson Alvarez. I said something to Jace. I was like, man, that just didn't feel right. And when I went in, Bubba checked me out and said, yeah, you know, it's a little loose, so we're going to have to take you out and get it checked out.
So you told me, I think, about your other thumb, though, your right thumb. You had injured it somewhere along the way, too, though, right? Yeah,
when I was in Lynchburg, I dove head first when I was sliding in second for a double, and I clipped my right thumb on the bag, and I knew right away that was bad. That was some pretty bad pain. This one wasn't quite as bad, so I wasn't sure right away what was going to be wrong with it.
Now, where specifically, Phil, did you break the thumb? Joe was telling us it wasn't the lower knuckle, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure. I mean, the most of my pain's down a little bit towards my bottom of my thumb. They said it was an avulsion fracture, whatever that. I'm not really sure what that means, but there's a lot of pain on. I guess it was yesterday morning when I woke up, so I was a little worried when I was heading to the doctor.
And what are they saying time-wise for healing?
They said 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm shooting for. You know, my goal is going to be a little less than that. It might be unrealistic, but we'll shoot for the lower end of that, and we'll go from there.
And you said before we came on air how frustrating this is. I'm sure it is. You were starting to get regular playing time, and you were making the most of it.
Yeah, you know, I was just getting some pinch hits, and early on there wasn't playing too much, and then I finally get 3 starts in a row. We get a series sweep, and everything was going great, and then this happened. So it's a little deflating for me, but. You know, injuries happen. It's part of the game, so I'll be all right. I'll be back hopefully pretty soon.
Souza at first with a 1-out hit brings up Evan Longoria. Runner goes, pitch low. Brzezinski's throw in second is going to be late, and it's a stolen base for Steven Souza, his 6th of the year.
It's interesting you said that, Phil, because I was talking to A.J. Brzezinski by the cage about it earlier today, about how frustrating it is for not just you, but Kelly Johnson, too, on the same road trip. You guys are both going good, and you have injuries. And A.J.'s response was, that's baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just have to get well and go on and be ready.
Yeah, the injuries are part of it. Yeah, Kelly, that was a tough one. He's, hitting a bunch of homers, doing a great job for us, and that happened. So it's frustrating, but, whoever steps in there and plays for both of us, I think is going to do a good job and keep these wins coming.
I was going to say, the ball club has to feel very good coming back home with the way the road trip ended. We know how tough the road trip started in Washington, but man, oh man, you guys look great down in Miami the last 3 days.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Miami. 2 sweeps down there. Played really good baseball both times. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, we like playing there, I guess.
2 balls and a strike to Evan Longoria.
You like interleague play, Phil?
Yeah, it's cool. I get to play some of the teams you usually don't play. I got to play up in Toronto. Play these guys. Fenway. I think I might miss that one, but it's cool to play. Some different stadiums where the first month feels like you're just playing your division every day. So it's good to see some different teams and play against some different players.
Souza, the happiest man in the ballpark. First, not to be picked off, and secondly, not to be drilled on the pickoff throw.
That brings us to a good point, Phil. You guys have really done a good job on your pickoffs at second base. Is that something that, you worked hard on in spring training and continue to work on?
Yeah, we definitely work at it, but it helps having Andrelton Simmons at shortstop a little bit. We can practice it, but he's just naturally really good at it. That doesn't hurt.
And you almost never see that. A ball creep through the infield with Simmons and Peterson, 2 terrific defenders up the middle. Longoria broke his bat, but knocks home his 14th run this month. That guy's pretty good too, Evan Longoria, huh, Phil?
Yeah, that was perfectly placed. He's a great hitter, and then it's tough when you make a good pitch there. He finds a hole anyway, but that's what really good hitters will do to you.
18 RBIs for the Tampa Bay first baseman, who had 4 RBIs all of April. So he's heating up. James Loney, the batter, he had a first inning single. Rays with 5 hits. Loney a couple of homers, 10 knocked in. 1 in, 1 on, 1 out. And a strike.
Fulte breezed through the bottom of the order. Has found the top part a little tougher going, but I will say they're finding some holes. They're rolling some grounders through. They're hitting some bloops. Still making good pitches.
We got the ACC baseball tournament too, Phil. I'm sure you have an eye looking toward Virginia. How are they going to fare in tournament play?
Yeah, they had a pretty good start. I'm sure the Georgia Tech fans didn't like the one today too much. I think they beat them 11-0, and the guy almost threw a perfect game for Virginia. So I guess decent start to it for them. They haven't had a great year, but hopefully they can catch fire here a little bit in the postseason.
Yeah, it was a mercy rule game.
Yeah, we got out on them pretty good. I actually watched a little bit of it earlier today, and yeah, we got another UVA guy on the other side of the field, Brandon Geyer. So it's good. I feel like I'm running into more and more UVA guys up here in the big leagues.
Yeah, I saw you up in Washington talking with Ryan Zimmerman over at first base. You had a chance to chat with him in the series up there.
Yeah. I got to meet him actually for the first time last year when we played him. I didn't. Thanks, guys. I didn't know him until last year. And I got a chance to meet him. Great guy, and it's cool to have that UVA connection up here in the big leagues.
Do you guys have like a Cavalier handshake, or do you just yell Wahoo at each other, or what do you do?
No handshake. Yeah, I guess we got the whole Wahoo thing, who's all that, and yeah, no cool handshakes though.
Okay.
So when we say who's on first, we're talking about Ryan Zimmerman the rest of the year. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Absolutely. Let's stick with it.
1 ball. 2 strikes and fouled back by Loney. You're showing a remarkable composure down there. You just got crushed with some sunflower seeds. Who nailed you down there?
I think that was Shelby.
Really?
Actually, yeah. He's trying to get me. He's my locker mate, so he's trying to mess with me a little bit. Yeah, try to keep my emotion. I'm not a too emotional guy no matter what, so keep it together even when I'm getting stuff thrown at me.
If Shelby would work on his game as much as he works on that stuff, he'd be pretty good.
I know. Maybe finish off that no-hitter,
Is that as close as you've been to a no-hitter as a professional, Phil, that game down in Miami?
Yeah, on the good side of it, I made the last out when the Phillies no-hit us last year.
Oh, that's right.
That wasn't too fun. But, yeah, on the good side of it, yeah, that was the closest. I was, unfortunately, up in the clubhouse by myself, so it wasn't as fun as being out in the field or on the dugout or in the dugout. But I was in there with him every pitch, and everybody up in the the trainers and everybody, we let out a big yell when he gave up that hit, which was a little disappointing.
Yeah, we did too. Some kind of performance from Shelby Miller. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Justin Bour broke it up. Siriaco hesitated, and the throw to second is going to be in time. And Kevin Cash is going to come out and protest this call. Evan Longoria was called out at second base, and Cash is looking in at his dugout. He may challenge this call at second base.
Siriaco did double clutch on it. That's another one of those times. I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit. I know Terry Pendleton has worked hard with Jace on altering his throws on his relays on the double play. That's one where when he sees that bobble, he's got to come across the third base side of the bag and become a first baseman to at least get that lead runner.
Yeah, come across like a first baseman, and if you still have time to try and turn the double play, great, but buy yourself a little bit more time on the throw.
He could have caught that ball a good 3 or 4 feet before he caught it by coming across the bag.
So the Rays are going to challenge the call at second. The original call was out. And as always, the question is, will there be enough clear and convincing evidence to change the call made by the second umpire, Will Little? I was shocked he called him out, to be honest with you.
Can't tell where his foot is there.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming up obviously in his slide, but can't tell where his foot was.
Phil, takes nerves of steel to hang in there when you got a base runner barreling in on you in a bang play trying to turn a double play, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got to think self-preservation a little bit, but you still want the out there. And Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty close. These calls are pretty close. You know, it's tough to overturn them a lot. Whatever they call on the field, I feel like sticks a lot of the time.
Yeah, we've talked about replay a lot. I don't think we've ever asked a player what's the consensus in the clubhouse about instant replay from your guys' perspective.
I think everybody hates this part right here while you're just sitting around for 2-3 minutes, whatever it is, just kills the flow of the game. But ultimately, you want the call to be made, the right call. So you take that. I guess take the good with the bad. The standing around is definitely not. Most guys don't like that part of it.
So the Rays are challenging this call in the third inning. They've got back-to-back hits. And let's see from this angle.
Still hard to tell. I haven't seen anything that would say definitely overturn it.
Jerry Davis is the crew chief. He's the umpire on the right. Will Little is the second base umpire. He's the man that made the call.
Are they keeping track of umpires whose calls are questioned and how many times their calls are supported or overturned?
I'm sure somebody somewhere has that information. And the call's going to stand. Kevin Cash can't believe it, so he loses his challenge. Longoria's out on a force play, 5-4. And my guess is there wasn't enough to change the call. Call stands at second. And 2 men are out. James Loney is still the hitter. I take that back. James Loney's the runner at first. It's Logan Forsythe, I beg your pardon. And that'll bring up the Tampa Bay second baseman. He's flat out to right. And he just got hit by a pitch. And that's the part, Phil, I think that really affects everybody on the field, or the person on the field the most. That's the starting pitcher, is trying to work in rhythm. Got to stand around for 3 minutes before something happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Fulte's been he's given up a couple of runs, but he's been filling it up out there. The strike to ball ratio is pretty good, so looks like he's been in a pretty good groove, and standing around for a couple of minutes doesn't help that, I'm sure.
So 2 are on, 2 are out, and David DeJesus bats. He bounced out to short to end the Tampa Bay first. A 3-2 Braves game. All 3 Atlanta runs came in the second. And popped into shallow left. Todd Cunningham's under it. And that will retire the side. Phil, appreciate your time. So sorry for your injury. Good luck with the surgery tomorrow. We'll look forward to talking to you at the ballpark soon.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Phil Gosselin, our guest. Tampa Bay scores a run. They're down 1. Markakis and Cunningham are coming up. And we've shown you video earlier this season of Terry Pendleton working with Jace Peterson to try to get him to change up his footwork at the second base bag. It's still very much a work in progress. I think the term that Phil used a moment ago was really an important one: self-preservation. Freddie rolls one foul, even count.
But one of the things that goes along with that is your timing. When you see that guy, when you get to the bag and you see that guy trying to get the ball of his glove, it should be kind of automatic in your head to come on across. Not again.
Yep. Same play, same result. Freddie's 0 for 2, 1 out. He's gone out and reached around a couple of balls the last couple of games. Tonight it hasn't worked for him.
Yeah, when they've got the shift on, that doesn't work.
No.
Markakis walked and scored the first Braves run. Atlanta 3, Tampa Bay 2 in the third. The pitch is low. Ball 1. Nick Markakis has played 152 games now against Tampa Bay in his career. He's hit 16 home runs against them. All of that work came with Baltimore. In the air toward right center field. Kiermaier on the run. Nearly overran it. Tracked it down on the warning track.
He can fly.
No kidding.
Covered a lot of ground in that one.
A real late draft pick. Even had to change directions on this one, cutting across, then going back right there.
So 2 outs for Todd Cunningham. Todd doubled and scored in the second 2.
31st round draft pick.
And that's frankly how the Rays have to run their baseball operation, don't they? They can't afford to miss at any round in the draft. And Kiermaier's been a good one. Three balls, no strikes for Cunningham. And he takes a strike. High hopper toward Longoria. And he makes a good play, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. Lower third coming up for the Rays as we head to the 4th.
free concert to everyone in attendance. Limited VIP field passes are available for only $20. Act fast by visiting Braves.com/concerts to reserve your seats today.
Nice crowd here tonight in Atlanta. Beautiful night for baseball. As the Braves are back into interleague play. Lifetime, the Braves 17-7 against the Tampa Bay franchise. The Braves have won 6 of 9 meetings here in Atlanta. We've got another matchup with the Rays in August, a 2-game series. August 11th and again on August 12th. I don't mind interleague play, but I really hate the 2-game series.
2-game series, not good. I guess I'm kind of like Phil Gosselin. I liked going to the different cities, but I didn't necessarily like it from a pitching standpoint. I didn't like the unfamiliarity of who you were getting ready to play, especially in those days because we didn't have video like they do nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say, scouting had to be a whole lot different.
Yeah,
back in the dark ages.
Exactly.
As Drupal Cabrera leading off the 4th for Tampa Bay.
Of course, for me, it was always really difficult because it was, I'm not sure what to throw. All right, let me try a changeup. Why not?
It seemed to work okay, right? And that's a little high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike to ball ratio, real good for Fultonevich. 38 strikes, 11 out of the strike zone. 5 hits, several of them of the soft hit variety.
Yeah, he's been in the zone, and he's getting contact where you want, not on the good part of the bat, but these guys have done a good job of finding holes.
And hasn't walked anybody. Hit a batter, but he's been pounding the zone, much like Shelby Miller did, especially with the fastball.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And that one's hammered deep to right by Cabrera. A no doubt about it home run. And that one ties the game.
That went a long way.
That was off the good part of the bat.
Second home run for Asdrubal Cabrera. The 37th home run hit by Tampa Bay this year. We got a new game. It's 3-3.
Yeah, so what? Start over.
Really? That was for me?
Cabrera had a 49-game homerless drought that ended May 9th against Texas. That was his first home run since September 3rd. 184 at bats between blasts, and now from May 9th to May 19th, only 10 games between long balls for the Tampa Bay shortstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rene Rivera. And a swing and a miss takes care of the catcher. There's out number 1. 3rd strikeout. And Ramirez will be the batter.
Couldn't catch up to that high stuff.
Erasmo Ramirez. He's one of 13 players in big league history born in Nicaragua. Dennis Martinez, perhaps the most famous. And 2 men from Nicaragua have made an opening day roster this year. Everett Cabrera of Baltimore is the other. And Ramirez is down on strikes. 2 up. 2 strikeouts of Ramirez, 2 strikeouts of Rivera. Back to the top we go, and Kevin Kiermaier. He tried a bunt. Not a bad idea. Strike one.
Yeah, with his speed, not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, even with 2 outs, he can get on and steal second. Serve the same purpose as hitting a 2-out double for him. He had been really struggling. Got a couple of hits Sunday in their 19-hit game against Minnesota. But before that, he had been 3 for 33.
I think a few of their guys got right in Minnesota.
Yep.
Kiermaier lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's 24 years of age. And this ball's hit to center and playable for Cameron Maybin, who has it, and that retires the side. A leadoff homer from Asdrubal Cabrera ties it up. 3 apiece. Home fourth coming up. Good piece of hitting by Cameron Maybin. New ball game as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Braves 3, Tampa Bay 3.
Well, Ramirez has weathered that 3-run inning with thanks to his teammates coming back to tie it up for him. Todd Cunningham stayed hot. Bolte looks good. He's given up 1 hard hit ball all night.
That was our CPI Security game summary as the Braves send A.J. Przinsky to the plate to start the home 4th. That's headed for the stands to the left side. 0-2. That's caught on and missed. Przinsky's down on strikes.
Okay. That cracked me up. Not AJ's strikeout, certainly, but this guy catches the ball in his hat and then starts a chant of USA. Good catch, fella.
He's a lot nicer than that fan in Philly the other day. Did you see that on the highlight shows? Fox Sports 1?
No.
Michael Franco hits a home run and some Philly fan reaches over and pushes a grandmother out of the way in the first row of seats in the outfield. As Simmons pops one into shallow center. Kiermaier's underneath it. And he's got it for the second out. Just shoved her out of the way to grab the baseball. Our pals from the Diamondbacks, Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brentley, weren't too happy about it. So they sent their booth assistant Studley out there with a Diamondbacks t-shirt, and this lady who was a diehard Philly fan put the Diamondbacks shirt on. at Citizens Bank Park.
Got to box out.
Well, those fans in Philly, they're tough. Those are the folks that booed Santa Claus.
They are tough.
And that's a true story. They had Santa Claus at Veterans Stadium for an Eagles game, and they were throwing ice balls at him and booing him. And Jen Hildreth knows all about how tough those fans can be if you drop a cheesesteak wrapper in the ballpark. They go crazy up there. And Cameron Maben got hit by a pitch with 2 outs, and that helps, clears the pitcher. So Ramirez has hit a couple of Braves tonight.
Well, he's not trying to do this. And got him right on the belt buckle. But he has to pitch inside a little bit to keep you off his changeup, especially with the right-handers.
Mike struck out back in the Braves' second inning and takes a strike at the knees. Interleague play in Washington tonight. The Yankees are leading the Nats 4-2 in the 5th inning. Bryce Harper, those, hit another homer. That one measured at 400 feet. He is on fire for the Washington club.
I believe that's 10 homers in 23 games. That's a good pace.
Yeah, it is.
Nats have won 15 of their last 19 games. They're averaging almost 7 runs a game in that stretch. As Mike didn't get that.
But as we saw in the beginning of the road trip, Harper was hot and he had a good series against the Braves. But then all of a sudden, Ryan Zimmerman got hot too, right behind him. So it wasn't like everybody could pitch around Harper when Zimmerman started swinging better.
And they'll have to do without Jason Worth. He went to the disabled list today for Washington, so that certainly helps. 3 strikeouts for Ramirez. We go to the 5th. Braves baseball in Atlanta with a look back at Rafael Furcal. An unassisted triple play turned in by the Braves shortstop against the Cardinals in 2003. And why are we showing you Rafael Furcal tonight? Well, Rafael Furcal announced his retirement today after 14 big league seasons.
Well, he was a solid player when he was in an Atlanta uniform. Had some power, had great speed, played a really good shortstop. He too had a real good arm.
Yeah, he did. Good player.
Had a good career.
A fly foul by Steven Souza, who's 2 for 2 tonight. He's got an RBI single. He's got a stolen base and a run scored as well. He's also got a sore back after Foltynewicz nailed him with a pickoff throw at second base tonight. There's that breaking ball. It's been effective. A ball and 2 strikes. That's tipped and caught, and Souza's out number 1.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, that pitch was 97, I think. That guy actually foul tipped the ball. He hit it with his bat, and yet it still went in the catcher's glove. Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Evan Longoria, best hitter perhaps in the history of the Rays franchise, leads their franchise in homers, doubles, and RBIs. He picked up his 1,000th big league hit May 5th. It came against the Red Sox, and he's disposed of. No need for Brzezinski to apply the tag, as Foltynewicz has that breaking ball working now. Back-to-back strikeouts.
He can make right-handers look awfully bad. It's kind of like the swing that we saw Todd Frazier take in Cincinnati the other day.
Yeah, you get a guy of that caliber take a swing like that at one of your pitches, you know it's a good one.
Now a lefty bat greets him. Lefty's hitting Mike at a 400 clip at the start of play this evening. James Loney with a couple of homers is 1 for 2 tonight. Look, I know we're all in the results business, but in the case of Foltynewicz, wouldn't you say that we are as interested in improvement as results, final results for him?
Well, I mean,
I'm not suggesting he's here on scholarship, but for any reason. But
look, everything in this game is results driven, obviously, and you know you can only have so many attaboy line drive outs before you got to start getting some hits, and the same is true with pitching. You got to start winning some games, obviously, but you know I think that too often we look at games and box scores within games and read way too much into them, because I'm sure somebody could look at this box score or tune in right now and think, oh, Foltynewicz must be struggling. He's given up 6 hits and 3 runs.
Yeah,
and he's not. He's pitched a good ball game. It hasn't gone great for him. So I mean, I think you have to absolutely. I agree with you. You have to, especially for these younger guys, you got to look more into the progress from start to start. Are they getting more consistent? Are they giving you more of a consistent chance time in and time out? Are they sequencing their pitches better? Are they becoming more efficient? All those things, and that goes way beyond how many games are you going to win.
And he just lost Loney, a 2-out walk. Brings up Logan Forsythe.
His first walk. Got 6 strikeouts. His season high is 7.
Well, the fact that he's been much more efficient, even with that high strikeout total, because the walks aren't there. He's taking the ball deeper in the game. That's always a good thing, especially with the state of the Braves' very young bullpen. As that one's all the way to the backstop. Brzezinski on the ricochet was ready to make a throw to second and had no chance on a very wild pitch. Logan Forsythe.
I think that was a little anger / frustration with a 2-out walk following 2 strikeouts in an inning. Tried to do a little bit too much with that one.
Something else too, I think A.J. Brzezinski's done a terrific job of working with Mike Foltynewicz. With all the different styles of pitching A.J. Brzezinski has caught, he's got a wild Mustang out there that he's trying to train out there.
and trying to rein in at times. You know, if he was upset about the walk, then get him redirected and focused on making a good pitch. Let it go.
Three balls, no strikes.
Yeah, that, and if you can, particularly with a young guy, if you can eliminate a portion of what's going on out there, and by that I mean he doesn't have to think so much about pitch sequencing and things of that nature. He just trusts AJ, then it makes it that much easier for him to just concentrate on what pitch he's getting ready to make.
I've said too, Tom, in some ways he reminds me of John Smoltz when he first got to the big leagues. I'm not saying he's going to be as talented as John in any way, shape, or form, but the raw stuff, and raw I think is the operative word. John was the same way, wasn't he?
I agree. Yep, I see similarities in that.
Sharply hit and past Siriaco into left field. Here comes the run around third. Oh, Cunningham tripped and fell. He was ready to make a throw to the plate, and he just flat out fell down. So Forsythe is at first. Loney came around third to score. It's an RBI single and a 4-3 Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, that wild pitch set it all up. Unfortunately, Loney does not run well, so Cunningham was going to have a play and had more assists than anybody in the outfield, than any other outfielder in Gwinnett. But he got his feet tangled up. Stepped on his own foot.
So after two quick strikeouts, a walk, a wild pitch, and a base hit to left, the Rays are back in front. And this is where you don't want to be with Tampa Bay. Get into the middle innings with that very, very good bullpen beginning to come into play.
Well, and this is what Nick Markakis was talking about. You know, they just don't quit.
Rays led 1-0, trailed 3-1, single run in the third, single run in the fourth, single run here in the fifth. And now David DeJesus is in the box. He's grounded out and he's flied out. Yank foul at first. St. Louis leads the Mets tonight. That's a 4-2 game in the fifth. Michael Wacha trying to go to 6-0 for the Cardinals. Mets beat St. Louis 2-1 in 14 innings, despite a great outing from Matt Harvey. A no decision last night for the Mets.
I heard today the Cardinals are on a stretch of playing 35 games in 36 days, something like that. They played the Sunday night game, didn't get to New York till 4 a.m. and then played 14 innings. I'm not sure they had much left in the tank last night.
Yeah, late night travel like that, and Matt Harvey's a bad combination for any offense, including one as good as the Cardinals.
Heck yeah.
But they've gotten their rest and they're up midway through tonight. Arizona leads Miami. That's 2-0 in the fifth. Tom Kohler is on the mound for the Marlins tonight. And that missed outside. Saw an unbelievable note on the Marlins. Ichiro is one hit away from tying Babe Ruth on the hit list in the North American big leagues. 1-2 count. Fly ball toward Maben, left center. That ball jumped. It's over his head, and that's going to bounce off the warning track and up off the fence. Here comes Forsythe around third, and he's going to score without a throw. It's a double for DeJesus, and Tampa Bay has a 2-run lead. It's now 5-3.
All this with 2 out and nobody on. I thought he hit that ball pretty solid, but I didn't think he hit it that good.
I didn't either.
It did jump.
5-3 Rays, 2 outs. And here's Cabrera. He homered to lead off the 4th. Asdrubal Cabrera was originally a Seattle Mariner. He became a regular player with the Cleveland Indians. Seattle acquired Eduardo Perez for Asdrubal Cabrera years ago. Start of the year is their number 3 hitter. He's been hitting 6th or 7th the last 3 weeks. And tonight that's paid dividends with a long homer. Action's begun in the Braves pen. Trevor Cahill's the first man up. There's a good pitch, 2-2. Simmons and De Jesus having some fun at second. Down and in, full count. It's funny how one sequence and one pitch can change the tenor of an entire inning, if not the game. Mike was breezing along, struck out Souza and Longoria, and walked Loney through a wild pitch. A couple of hits later, he's down 2 runs. And he recovers to take care of Cabrera. But the Rays cash in those opportunities and take a 5-3 lead. Top of the order coming up for the Braves. The definition of a Maddox game. And a Maddox game, simply defined, is a complete game shutout with less than 100 pitches. And there are only 2 pitchers in Braves history that have thrown 2 Maddox games in a single month. Greg Maddux, of course, and Shelby Miller. However, the man sitting between Joe and me has thrown the best Maddox game in Braves history. 84 pitches against the Giants back in 1992, authored by Mr. Glavine.
You remember the game?
I do not. No.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th.
I remember the other one we were talking about where I threw 79 pitches. That was in the old ballpark against the Mets, but I don't remember that.
I do. I remember that one well.
So what year was the game against the Giants, Woody?
92.
92.
So they had Bonds. No, they didn't have Bonds. Was Jeff Kent on the Giants then?
I know this. It was at the old ballpark and on turf.
Two balls and a strike to Jace Peterson. And that one in at the knees. He didn't think so. Changes the at bat from a 3-1 count to a 2-2 count. And now with 2 strikes, they shift the shortstop, Cabrera. And Peterson takes the 3rd strike over the inner half. He looks back, didn't like the call, and he's retired for out number 1. Takes a lot of pitches over the inside corner, doesn't he?
Yeah, he got beat a couple of times in that first game down in Florida where he struck out 3 times. They were popping him inside and he was giving up on that 2-seamer that was coming back, and that's what happened to him right there, it looked like.
Pedro Siriaco's 0 for 2. And showed bunt, took a strike.
Well, the Rays have taken the lead. Ramirez has held the Braves without a hit since the 2nd inning.
He's never won a game against the National League. He's 0-3 lifetime, but leads tonight 5-3 in the 5th. Tampa Bay's bullpen will begin to work.
Xavier Cedeno. And it's only because this guy just hasn't pitched deep into ball games. It's that great game his last time out, as we said, against the Yankees. 5 innings of 1-hit shutout ball.
Bouncing ball right side. Loney hits the pitcher on the run. James has always been a good glove man. And Siriaco's the 2nd out. Here's Freddie Freeman. And it'll be Longoria who moves across the diamond to set up the Tampa Bay shift. And Freddie's hit into that shift twice. Tried to hit it over the shift and drives it deep to right, but pulled it foul. Strike 1.
Freddie's last homer was May 5th against the Phillies. Billingsley, who's also back on the disabled list.
He's got a lat muscle problem. This one skied foul, out of play. Left side this time for Freddie. It's 0-2. Phillies, though, have won 6 in a row. Phillies and the White Sox, the hottest team in the big leagues. Identical 6-game win streaks. And Freddie didn't get a high fastball. The best of the night, 93 miles an hour from Ramirez, who Erasmo's Freeman in the home 5th.
And we were talking earlier about some of the recent transactions that the Braves have made. One of those with Phil Gosselin going to the DL brought Adonis Garcia up to the Braves. And it is Adonis, by the way, not the Greek god Adonis. I did check on that. But talking to Freddie Gonzalez before the game and how he anticipated using him, he said, well, it's mostly going to be Siriaco and Callaspo playing third, but you might get a chance to see Garcia and that big bat he's been swinging at Gwinnett. He's hitting .351, leading the Gwinnett Braves in hits, doubles, RBI, and average. Might get a chance to see that in something like a pinch hit situation sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Jen. Great report. Busy transaction day for the Braves, and I would imagine that the Atlanta Gwinnett shuttle is going to continue to be in high gear the rest of this summer for the Braves ball club. Trevor Cahill checks in for Fultonevich. Mike went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts.
That 1 walk kind of did him in, though. Sad to say, 2 outs, nobody on, and he walked James Loney, and a couple of hits followed that. Otherwise, he might still be in the game.
Cahill gets a ground ball from Rivera. There's out number 1. It's funny for a guy that's still trying to find his way in the major league starting rotation. One play makes all the difference. The walk, the wild pitch, the bad throw last time out in Cincinnati.
Well, I mean that's what you learn. You know, I mean it's those. You know, it's the little things sometimes. Regardless of how good your stuff is or how electric it is on a given night, what have you, there's still those little things that can go wrong during the course of the game can make all the difference in the world. You know, and we can talk about how good he was giving up the first 3 runs of the game, but he'll be kicking himself for those last 2.
This is Tim Beckham, the pride of Griffin, Georgia, the #1 overall pick in the draft in 2008. And he bounces out to third on a broken bat for the second out of the inning. Beckham was taken first ahead of Pedro Alvarez, Eric Hosmer, Buster Posey, who went 5th to the Giants in the draft that year. An extremely talented kid who just hasn't developed quite as quickly as the Rays would have liked. And he's the second out. Sharply hit by Kiermaier to second, and Cahill got 3 ground ball outs. He did that on 5 pitches. That's an encouraging sign. 5-3 game, home 6th coming up. Our AT&T Uverse trivia question. 1998 was the Tampa Bay Rays' first season. They were the Devil Rays back then. Who was their first pick in the 1997 expansion draft?
That's a good question.
Tampa Bay and Arizona were the teams that came in together in 1997. And I'd heard rumors that Tampa Bay was originally going to be a National League franchise. Their owner at the time was Vince Namoli. And he almost demanded that baseball put him in the American League East because he wanted all those Yankee fans to come to Tampa Bay, all those Boston fans to come to Tampa Bay and fill up his ballpark. And it was rough sledding for the Rays for a long, long time until they became relevant in 2008. Nick Markakis will lead off against Xavier Cedeno. Was acquired April 27th from the Dodgers in a cash deal. No place for him in the LA bullpen, and he's come on and pitched like Tom Glavine out of the bullpen for Kevin Cash.
I'm not sure how that would go. Never did it.
Well, by that I mean real effective.
Oh, good.
9 straight scoreless appearances. That's the longest in franchise history by a left-handed pitcher to start his Tampa Bay career. Entering this season, he faced 120 opposing left-handed hitters in the big leagues, allowed only 5 extra base hits. He starts with Markakis. He's got the switch hitting Cunningham. Then you got A.J. Pierzynski. That's why Kevin Cash brought on Cedeno here in the 6th. 2-run game out of 3.
Great job by Ramirez, who had the one rough inning. Walked a couple of guys, hit a batter, but he still only gave up 2 hits.
This is a man that had an ERA approaching 7 runs a game. So we've got some time, but a very tough bullpen. Second best bullpen in the American League, staring down the Braves in the late innings tonight. And Markakis was ready to take a walk. Tony Randazzo raised the right hand. Full count pitch.
Let's take a look at our PNC Bank box tracks here. Nick's been a little upset over a couple of calls, and he should have been with that one.
To third, Longoria with a short hop from his knees and the throw to first in time. Tampa Bay 15 errors all year. That was a slick play at both corners.
I was going to say on both ends.
Longoria has a couple of gold gloves. Picks this one. Got some help, which was not an easy one for James Loney. And from what I've seen of their outfield already, since I didn't know a whole lot about Kiermaier and how he can run and cover ground, I know David DeJesus is a good outfielder. Asdrubal Cabrera, a good shortstop. They've got some solid glove guys too.
And remember, this is a Tampa Bay club that's getting by without Alex Cobb. He's had Tommy John surgery. As Cunningham pops one toward Longoria at third, he's on the grass. And he's got that for the second out. Drew Smiley's got shoulder problems. They are looking forward to getting Matt Moore back. Matt Moore is a terrific pitcher. And if he comes back sometime in June for Tampa Bay, you pair him with Odorizzi and Chris Archer. That's a real salty 1-2-3 punch in rotation for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm sorry the Atlanta fans are not going to be able to see Chris Archer firsthand. He's one of the developing outstanding starting pitchers in the American League. 4-4 with a 2.47 ERA.
One 1-0 for AJ. And that ball's hammered towards Souza in right. And he can't get there. That ball's going to bounce off the warning track at the top of the fence. The throw's cut off. And A.J. Pierzynski with a rare extra base hit against Xavier Cedeno. That'll bring the tying run to the plate.
Like a hanging breaking ball. Something off speed, and A.J. stayed back on it.
So a 2-out double for Przinsky. Andrelton Simmons will be the batter. And the Rays will once again go to their bullpen.
Yeah, that hung right out over the center of the plate, and then Souza didn't know whether to catch it or wind his watch, so he just played it off the wall.
So Cedeno departs. Game on the base paths and in the box for the Braves. 5-3 is your score. We'll tell you who the new pitcher will be in a moment.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
5-3 Tampa Bay. 1 on, 2 outs for the Braves in the bottom of the 6th inning. In the pride of Tulane University, Brandon Gomes is on in relief of Xavier Cedeno.
No relation to Johnny out of Fall River, Massachusetts. Good numbers for him in his first 12 games and a strikeout per inning.
Andrelton Simmons is the batter. He walked with the bases loaded. He's also flied out and took a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. We've raved about the Tampa Bay bullpen. Only the Royals have a lower ERA in the American League than Tampa Bay's relief corps. There is one problem. The Rays have thrown 133 bullpen innings this year. That's also the 2nd highest total in the American League. Popped him up. Simmons frustrated as Longoria will handle in foul ground. And Gomes puts out a 6th inning fire. No runs, a hit, a man left. Off we go to the 7th. The Rays lead game 1 by 2. It's Javi Lopez bobblehead night against the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow night. The first 20,000 fans through the gates will get the bobblehead featuring Javi Lopez. It's the first of the 2015 Braves bobblehead series. I'm unwrapping one as we speak.
Are you?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that's even better.
Hold on. Got to give him the bat. There you go. Tommy, what do you think? Pretty good likeness?
Yeah, not bad. I don't know if he's got Javi's eyes, but not bad.
Joe?
Yeah, he needed the Javi smile.
Yeah.
Good and bobbly.
Yeah, it is bobbly, for sure.
So that's tomorrow night. First 20,000 fans through the door. As Steven Souza is down on strikes. He's chatting with A.J. Brzezinski as he makes his way back to the Tampa Bay dugout. Feast or famine night for Souza. 2 hits, now 2 strikeouts. Cahill's look good. He's retired 4 in a row.
Yeah, he's due up first in the bottom half of the inning, so more than likely his last inning of work, but good signs for him. He's had a few days rest too. He last worked in Cincinnati on the 13th.
Longoria drives one to right. That's playable for Markakis on the track. And 2 men are out. Speaking of tomorrow night, exciting night for Williams Perez. He will make his debut as a starter for the Braves. And another good one pitching for Tampa Bay, Jake Odorizzi.
Williams Perez was lights out at Gwinnett. 5 games started. He had a 1.33 ERA and a 2-0 record. 9 walks, 21 strikeouts in 27 innings.
Yeah, and he'll hear the proverbial, do whatever you're doing down there to get here. Just keep doing that. Which is always easier said than done.
Loney cracks one to third. Siriaco surrounded that, recovered and got his man. That was a hard hit ball, but Cahill retires 6 over 2 innings. It's late in Atlanta. 5-3 Rays lead it.
Against the Fish, and told me that he's been working with Kevin Seitzer really about his approach and his routine in the cage. He said that Seitzer has really helped him clean up that approach. He said, I wanted to make sure I wasn't just practicing doing the same thing over and over, but that I was making it precise, that I was trying to do it right. And he's talked from the beginning, guys, you remember about how much he really admires Kevin Seitzer and the way he goes about things. It feels like he has been doing a better job of being more comfortable and more efficient in that routine here as of late.
Yeah, Jenna, it's interesting, too. We talked about this earlier this year when Cameron Maybin was still with the Padres. He was watching a spring training telecast, and Kevin Seitzer was being interviewed by the broadcast crew about what philosophies he was bringing, the training regimen he was employing, and the things he was trying to change with the Braves' offensive approach. And Cameron Maybin liked it so much that he went to Mark Kotze and asked if he would mind employing some of those techniques while he was still a member of the Padres. Well, then 7 to 10 days later, Cameron Maybin found himself traded to the Atlanta Braves. And Kevin Seitzer said he was on board with the program from the moment he stepped into the clubhouse. And he faces off with Kevin Jepson, a big, hard-throwing right-hander out of the Tampa Bay bullpen.
Former Olympian.
His 19th appearance. That's most on the club.
They got it from the Angels in December for Matt Joyce. And last year he was in 74 games for the Angels. And a 2.63 ERA. And he is funky. 6'3", 235.
So the Braves have 9 outs to score at least 2 runs. 5-3 Tampa Bay leads it. That just missed. This, though, in case of Jepson, is an area of concern. He has walked 8 men over his last 7 appearances. Full count. Alberto Callaspo will hit for Cahill. He's on deck. Now the payoff pitch. Maybin takes a leadoff walk. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. Good start for the Braves in the home 7th.
Gotta like that. Any freebie to the leadoff man is much appreciated. There were 2 innings, the last 2 innings, the 5th and the 6th. Jace Peterson led off the 5th, and you might remember they had a 2-1 count. Got a call that he didn't like. It went to 2-2. Could have gone 3-1. Next call he didn't like. Results in a strikeout, so he doesn't get on base. Last inning, Markakis was ready to head to first and should have on a leadoff walk. Call went against him. Then he hits that shot to Longoria, so he doesn't reach.
So Maybin leads from first. He's got a good lead. Not going, and the pitch is strike to Callaspo.
And in Markakis' case, probably would have scored on that double that AJ hit.
Yep, absolutely. Good point.
If that were the case, we'd have a 1-run game. It's now 5-3. With Maybin aboard. Pitch is low and in. Even count to Callaspo. This has been an area of great success for the Braves all year long. They have done a remarkable job in hitting in the pinch. Braves bench hitting .333 this year. 17 hits and 51 tries. And Callaspo hitting .333 himself as a pinch hitter. He's 2 for 6 with a homer. In fact, the Braves all last year had 2 pinch hit home runs. They already have 2 this year.
Like a pretty good split finger pitch he laid off of there.
Downstairs, ball 3. I wonder how many times Callaspo saw Jepson for the American League.
That'll drive Kevin Hickey and the manager Kevin Cash to the lineup card. See who's due up and who they might have to get up.
Callaspo's seen him twice, and he's 2 for 2. He's ahead in the count big time here. 3 balls and a strike.
Now that's where you got to be, for me anyway, real selective. 3-1 count. You're down a couple runs. This better be a pitch you can just hammer.
Maybin was leading and got back on a dive.
Yeah, I want to look for something that I can pull down and in. that I may be able to drop the barrel on and pull in that hole. That's what I would be looking for, I think, here 3-1.
He takes a questionable strike. That's at least 3 in the last 3 innings the Braves haven't liked from Randazzo.
PNC Bank box tracks. Rivera made it look better than it was, but it did look or appear to catch the bottom of the line.
3-2 pitch is served toward left, but caught by De Jesus. So Callaspo flies out, 1 on, 1 out. Back to the top we go, and Jace Peterson.
But another borderline pitch that results in an out instead of a walk.
More action in the Tampa Bay bullpen. Jake McGee, who was their closer but got hurt. Brad Boxberger has been pitching the 9th inning and has been perfect in saves. Outside corner, a strike. The beauty of the way the bullpen sets up for Tampa Bay is if Jepson gets through the 7th, you've got all the left-handed batters in the 8th. You can use McGee there and Boxberger, the righty, for the bottom part of the order in the 9th. Braves hope to make that academic with a big inning here in the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. And well off the plate, 2-1. Another deep count.
And another big pitch.
"16 pitches, only 6 strikes for Jepson. Popped him up. And again, De Jesus in left. Puts the squeeze on that. On a 3-1 count, Peterson flies out. 2 outs for Siriaco.
See where this location was. They wanted it a little in, but that had a lot of the plate, and he was late on it on a 3-1 count.
So far tonight, Tampa Bay, an inning and 2/3 scoreless.
And all those teams at the top of the standings in their respective divisions.
Tampa Bay a game out behind the Yankees. The pitch to Siriaco on the way. Snap throw by Rivera to first. Maben back safely. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Kevin Cash, the manager, looking on. Siriaco again represents the tying run. He was trying to tie it with that swing. Didn't get it. If he reaches, almost certainly you'll see McGee face Freddie Freeman.
Couple of good fastballs by him right there. 94. Going to stay with it too.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Pedro fouled it back.
And he made a much better pitch than he wanted to.
Let's see what Rivera conjures up here. A good rip. Breaking ball hung inside, and Siriaco fought it away.
Yeah, it was bound to come if he kept throwing that fastball over and over and fouled off, but that was not a good breaking ball. Whatever he threw earlier in the sequence, I think to Callaspo, looked like a split, something that was like a sinker. That's what I thought he'd come back with.
I wonder if he'll double up with that breaking ball where that one wasn't a good one. See if he can throw another one better. He wanted it. I think he shook it off.
Tipped and caught. And a 93-mile-an-hour fastball takes care of the Braves in the 7th. They couldn't cash in a leadoff walk. We head to the 8th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Time to revisit our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Oh, so long ago, the Tampa Bay Rays began their major league voyage. Who was their first selection in the 1997 expansion draft?
I don't know.
I have absolutely no idea.
I have no clue.
I remember David Need went to Colorado, but that wasn't the question.
No, it wasn't. That's a good answer.
So we might as well. So let's stick with David Need. Maybe we got lucky, but I don't think that's right.
No.
Tony Saunders.
Tony
Remember
Saunders.
him? First manager for the Rays was Larry Rothschild. who was the Marlins pitching coach at the time.
I do believe their first draft pick was Josh Hamilton.
I don't know the answer to that.
And he may not have been their very first, but there was a year where they had the first pick, and everybody, their top, by the analysis of all the scouts, the top two guys were Josh Hamilton and Josh Beckett, and they had their pick and they took Hamilton.
And had Josh not had his physical problems, which led to the off-field substance abuse problems, that might have still been the right pick.
Sure.
For Tampa. At the time, Logan Forsythe faces Luis Avila. A little more history. I didn't realize this until I looked it up in the book. March 27th, 1998. Tom Glavine played a part in Tampa Bay history. The first game at Tropicana Field, the Rays beat the Braves in an exhibition game. Rolando Araujo beat Tom, and Russ Moorman hit a home run in that game. At the Trop.
What year was that?
1998. Exhibition game.
I don't remember that.
We've had some crazy moments, wacky moments, historical moments in the history of the Rays franchise. And back in the days when they were the Devil Rays, Wade Boggs picked up his 3,000th hit. All those years with the Boston Red Sox, finished down in Tampa Bay and hit a home run for his 3,000th big league hit. First man in baseball history to do that for that milestone. As Forsythe is down swinging. Here's out number one in the 8th inning. Now we're going to show you the sweet swing of Wade Boggs and maybe some of the ugliest uniforms in the history of the game. Those are bad togs, man. Off of Chris Haney.
I don't know. Derek Jeter also hit a homer for his 3,000th. I don't know that he kneeled down and kissed the plate, though, did he?
Not that I remember.
No.
Fly ball off the bat of Brandon Guyer. That's really clocked. Cunningham got there. Nice running catch at the 380 sign. Brandon Guyer is out number 2. Maybe Wade Boggs thought there was a bucket of chicken. Maybe. Always ate chicken before the games, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Al McRae managed the Tampa Bay club. Lou Piniella managed them. But things really turned around in 2005 when Stuart Sternberg became the principal owner of this Tampa Bay ball club. Brought in Andrew Friedman, Jerry Hunsicker. And then Joe Madden was named their skipper at the end of the 2005 season. And then the Rays began what we talked about earlier, this amazing 10-year run. Well, last year was a down season for them. Made the wild card in 2013. Made the playoffs 4 times in the last 7 years with those minuscule payrolls in the rough and tumble AL East. Of course, their best year was 2008 when they went to the World Series. Like the Braves, they're a worst to first club. 97 wins that year, an improvement of 31 games over the 2007 year. Now Joe Madden is running the Cubs. Andrew Friedman's in LA. And Kevin Cash is at the helm, and the Tampa Bay Rays are doing what they keep doing. That is winning. And that's what they're doing tonight. In the bottom of the 8th, it's a 5-3 score. Movie. Come on out to the ballpark this Saturday, May 23rd. The Braves take on the Brewers. Stay after the 4 o'clock game for a free post-game movie on Braves Vision. Sandlot, we understand, is the movie. More details are online at braves.com/movie night. Tampa Bay goes deeper into their bullpen, and Jake McGee can really bring it. He's on to pitch with all the left-handed bats coming up in the Atlanta 8th.
These are his numbers from last year because he's only been in one game, and that was Sunday in Minnesota. 1.89 ERA in 73 games. Tons of strikeouts. He popped 97 Sunday in Minnesota on his first day back after having some elbow surgery. I believe it was in January. Clean out some scrap metal that was in there.
Brandon Guyer takes over for DeJesus in left, and Freddie Freeman takes strike one. Bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, bottom of the 8th inning. 5-3 Tampa Bay leads it.
No shift with a left-handed pitcher.
Nice and easy at 94.
I was going to say that is exactly that. Nice and easy, and wham, 94 at you.
And Freeman's down on 3 pitches. McGee records his first strikeout. One away in the 8th.
You can understand why they have pitched a lot of innings, their bullpen. Not because their starters aren't doing the job, but because their manager can't wait to see him come in the game.
It's like I used to say back a couple years ago with Kimbrel, Venters, and O'Flaherty. Why wouldn't you go to those guys when you have a lead?
And a strike to Nick Markakis. McGee is a 5th-round pick back in 2004. 3rd highest average fastball velocity last year in the American League. And he threw a fastball 96% of the time.
Why not?
If you're throwing it 97, yeah, why not indeed? That one's stinking low, even count. That's out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. Our indescribably good play took place tonight in the 6th inning. Good pickup by Evan Longoria. And as Joe mentioned and Tom mentioned earlier, key to that sequence was if Markakis had walked, A.J. Brzezinski doubled with 2 outs. Had that not taken place, that ground out might have a 1-run game instead of the 2-run difference we have in the 8th. Tied him up. 2 strikeouts.
Kevin Cash was asked when McGee came back, well, is he going to be your closer when he gets back healthy? And he said no, not right away, because the guy that we've got closing games and has been closing games is 10 for 10. So I appreciate what Kevin Cash said with respect to the guy who's doing the job and doing it perfectly right now. Nice problem to have.
Johnny Gomes, a former Ray, is in the batter's box with 2 outs. Well, I'm not sure, but I would assume that as McGee pitches back into late May form, he will have Kevin Cash the opportunity to do exactly what I talked about. If the left-handed bats are up in the 9th, he can close. If it's righties, he can go with Boxberger.
Yep, one of them needs a night off. Use the other one. But I like the fact that he said it. You hate to see a guy lose a job to an injury, but at the same time, probably not that the 8th inning is any less stressful sometimes, but it is a little bit less stressful than being that guy that's closing it out. So when you're coming back, give him an opportunity to get his feet under him, get going a little bit, and then go from there.
And how many times have we seen it or said it? In a one-run game, sometimes the game is actually saved in the 8th inning. He doesn't get the credit for the save, but he gets the critical outs.
I mean, he's going through the heart of the order right now.
And Gomes didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one buzzed in at 96.
They had a shift on for Johnny until the count went to 2 strikes. Now it's 2-2. So with that, Forsythe moves over on the first base side.
That's fouled away. McGee is the 5th left-handed reliever that the Rays have used this year. And Gomes with a 2-out hit, strokes a single into center.
Freddie chased one up in the zone a little bit. Well, it wasn't that high. It's probably a strike. He tied up Markakis inside. So we got a pinch hitter here. And look what a difference it makes when the ball's down. That was 97. When the ball's down knee high from a hard thrower, dropped the barrel. Good piece of hitting by Gomes.
AJ had a double against a left-handed pitcher last time up. See what he can do with 2 outs. Blow it away. Ball 1. High hopper out toward Forsythe at second, and he'll make the throw to first in time. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Off we go to the 9th. Bullpen will make his debut. This is right-hander Nick Massett.
Well, it wasn't that long ago we saw Nick Massett pitch, and so did Freddie Freeman. Good numbers in his career. Outstanding numbers with Miami.
You see Nick's career numbers?
As bad as their bullpen was, man, oh man, there's a break for Atlanta to pick him up.
I'm saying, you know, with those kinds of numbers, not sure how you let him go, but.
Well, Jen, it seems the Braves very happy to have a veteran reliever join what has been a very young bullpen now.
Yeah, that's exactly what Freddie Gonzalez said, that in Massett you get a guy with some experience. And when I talked to Nick earlier today, he said, you know, I was a little surprised when he got let go from the Marlins. He felt he'd been throwing the ball well, but he said, look, I understand it's a business decision. It was a little disheartening for me, but he was excited to come here to Atlanta. Said he grew up a Braves fan, and was ready to get in here and, as he said, just do his job and help this team get some wins.
So we wish Nick well as he pitches the ninth, down 2 runs. Rene Rivera, then the pitcher's spot, then Kiermaier. And strike 1. Johnny Gomes remains in the game. He'll be in left. Johnny with a 8th inning pinch hit single. Oh, 2. Rivera tonight is hitless with a couple of strikeouts. Mike Foltynewicz started the game for the Braves. 5 runs in 5 innings. 8 hits, but in fairness to Mike, 2, maybe 3 of those balls were hard hit. One of them a long homer by Asdrubal Cabrera that tied the game at 3 in the 4th. Then 2 in the 5th sealed Mike's fate to this point. Bouncing ball fouled at 3rd by Rivera. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Certainly the 2-run 5th inning is the difference in the ball game right now, and that started with a 2-out walk and then a wild pitch put Loney in position to score on a base hit by Forsythe. But that was Folty's only walk of the night, and it came back to hurt him.
In the air, foul right side out of play. It's 1-2.
Yeah, leadoff walk seemed to find a way to hurt you, and 2-out walk seemed to find a way to hurt you. And tonight, that was certainly the case.
Backed up, but it was high. And the count evens up.
Cahill and Avilan, 3 innings and no hit, no run ball.
Nasty pitch takes care of Rene Rivera. And that's the first out of the 9th inning. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details.
Does that really say widgets?
It does.
Huh.
I don't know what a pitch tracking widget is. I just like saying it.
Yeah, I thought maybe just made it up.
I was going to ask you, but I didn't want to sound dumb.
Nick Franklin is the batter. He bats for McGee.
Just activated, switch hitter.
There's a shot toward right that Markakis will catch. Nick Franklin was originally a Mariner. That was part of the Mariners and Tigers play that saw David Price end up in Detroit. And here's how the game began for Mike Foltynewicz. It's our Toyota key play of the game.
It's the softest, worst triple I've ever seen in my life.
Little sandwich down in the corner.
But we did learn right away that Kiermaier can fly.
To the right side, and Nick Massett has a successful 1-2-3 debut out of the Braves bullpen. Last chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. Let's get some runs. It's a 5-3 Tampa Bay game. He and our friends at Delta Airlines get us from city to city. In fact, Max making the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for our trip to LA. Head out there Sunday. And fans, before we leave town, hope you'll join us for Military and Armed Forces Appreciation Day presented by Bank of America this Saturday, May 23rd. When the Brewers are in town, you'll get a discounted ticket and a Braves camo t-shirt when you buy your tickets at braves.com/camo. That's a good matchup. Shelby Miller, Mike Fiers are the pitchers in Game 3 of that 4-game series. So now we head to the fateful 9th inning, and here's the man we spoke about a moment ago, Brad Boxberger. Tough beat, 10 for 10 in the save department.
14 innings, 20 strikeouts. His last 9 appearances, covering 8 2/3 innings, he's thrown 3-hit shutout baseball with 3 walks and 12 strikeouts. So I'd say he did a nice job filling in for Jake McGee. Need a runner.
And ball 1. Boxberger set a franchise record for Tampa Bay last year. Most strikeouts by a reliever in the history of the Rays franchise. That man punched out 104 men in 64 2/3 innings with only 20 walks.
And who went to the Padres?
Jesse Hahn and Alex Torres, and Tampa Bay got Logan Forsythe back too.
Yeah.
In that deal.
Huh.
It's a good deal.
That was a real good deal for these guys.
He's out of Fullerton, California. 6'2", 225, and Simmons to a knee after he fouled one back to the screen.
I'll give Rene Rivera a lot of credit too, because he knows what McGee and Boxberger can do and what basically they're known for. He just keeps putting down one finger. They're not messing around a whole lot. Almost all fastballs until shook him off twice and wasn't a fastball.
Popped up behind the plate. Rivera at the screen. Won't have a play. Tampa Bay scored first in the first. Braves rallied for 3 in the second to take a 3-1 lead. The Rays have scored 4 unanswered runs. Bouncing ball up the middle. Forsythe backhands. Long throw. Got him by a step. Good play. To this point, if you didn't know about Tampa's ball club, I'd have to say this game would make you a believer.
Yeah, that was a nice play there to his backhand and put enough on the throw to get the out.
Yeah, they do enough offensively. But like we talked about, their defense and the back end of their bullpen, certainly strong points coming in, and that's been the case tonight.
Base is empty for Cameron Maben. 1 out in the 9th. Kind of reminds you of the old Braves. Pitch it, catch it. The offense will take care of its share. You're going to win more than your share. They're doing that right now. They're doing it shorthanded. Moore is out. Cobb is out. Smiley is out. They just got McGee back a couple of days ago. And through all of that, Tampa Bay began play tonight a game behind the deep-pocketed and big resume Yankees in the AL East.
Breaking ball and then an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. Another manager who's ashamed to wear the uniform, I guess. That's too bad.
One ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball toward right. 2 out. And Boxberger's an out away from his 11th save. Adonis Garcia will make his Braves debut. He was having quite an offensive run at AAA Gwinnett. He was second in the International League in average, hits, and doubles. Batting .351 down there, as you see, a native of Cuba. Was originally in the Yankees system for 7 years. Ball one.
Does Brian Snitker have any players left?
Good question.
I remember this spring the Braves had the funny T-shirts with the "Hello, my name is" sticker on them.
Yeah.
Brian might need some of those.
Yeah, the guy that made those is gone too.
Yeah, right. Greg Kimbrell. And Rivera might have been crossed up there.
Threw him a 2-0 changeup.
Two balls, one strike. And 2-2 now. That's off the catcher's glove, back to the screen. Braves have but 4 hits tonight. And that's your ball game. Boxberger, a 1-2-3 ninth. His 11th save earns Tampa Bay a 5-3 series opening win in Atlanta. The Rays now 22-18. The Braves fall to 18-20. And we'll recap the ball game from Atlanta after this timeout.